Hello everyone and welcome back to my F1 22 My Team career mode for the 7th round of the championship, the British Grand Prix. This is going to be an interesting one, so let's get straight into it. We have the Pirelli Hot Lap Challenge first, of course. We are going with the average speed challenge, and this one did take me a couple of goes to get it, but we did get there eventually. We just have to navigate cops and then maggots and beckets basically, and part of the hangar straight, but obviously that is straight, so not too difficult. We just need to get a good exit out of beckets and that will take care of itself. So yeah, getting through all of this rather nicely. Good bit of practice for that section of circuit before we get into the weekend proper, and we come towards the line now, and we just about clear the bar, and that is all we need to do. So 164 and a bit kilometers per hour, and we cut straight onto the end. 0.31, and we needed what did we need to get gold? 164.15. So yeah, not much into there. Anyway, looking now at R&D, I was considering going for this major chassis upgrade to the point where I was moments away from committing to that one, but then I remembered we had a durability upgrade to the MGU-H fail recently, so we're going to get that all tidied up and underway once again, but that takes up too many resource points. We can't do that chassis upgrade anymore, so we go for engine power instead. We've got a major one here, major upgrade to the cylinder heads that will come on in time for the Belgian Grand Prix, so it'll be good to have that extra power along the straight at Spa. But anyway, heading into this round, we have another new livery to the car. I did also in the last round, so the theme does continue of changing it every single race weekend. I just forgot to mention it last time. But anyway, this time we have a very special one. I had a request a while ago for the British Grand Prix. We should have a corgi livery, and making an F1 car look like a dog is not an easy thing to do. So I did the best that I could. What I did, I found a picture of a corgi on the internet and copied it into Paint 3D, actually it was, and that's got a color matching tool, so I could find out the exact shade it was, and I basically just translated that into the F1 game, and it looks probably a shade dark on the F1 car, but anyway, it's really the best I could do. It's not an easy thing to do.
The floor's damaged, I'm afraid. Expect significant performance issues until you come in and let us start repairs.
So yeah, we have an interesting livery for this one. It's definitely an unusual look. We've done the race suit, got a new helmet, we've done everything. It's an entirely new look. I believe the team is still in the same colours, but yeah, the driver and car are all new. But anyway, after that first lap in which we damaged the floor, we do need to go again. We're sitting last, and oh no! We've gone to track, and AI driver that takes control for the first few moments before you can drive the car yourself, as we do now.
Damaged. Expects a lot of understeer unless we replace it. No need to worry about the tyre condition for now. Everything's looking good.
Has driven straight into the back of the car in front as we've half spun a stow. A minor issue compared to the damaged front wing we now have, thanks to that. So yeah, that's why you do the outlap yourself. Sometimes the AI that controls the car for a couple of seconds before it hands over control to the player can do some pretty dumb stuff. So we're going to have to do this lap with a damaged front wing. It's well, we're actually gone green just there through entry, so maybe we can improve, but if so, it won't be by a great deal. And oh, now we've got Hamilton and Bottas right in our way there through maggots and beggars, and now we're way offline, off the road to the left, and this lap is now finished. There's no way we can improve from here, and that is qualifying done for us, and we are going to finish down in 22nd position. We do have the worst car by a chunk, so it's not a huge surprise, but I think we could have done a little better than that if we hadn't damaged the floor. But anyway, and of course a front wing on the second run. But yeah, I think that might be the worst qualifying session I've ever done. That was just horrible. Piastri also not great. He's only one position ahead of us. We lock out the back row of the grid. Also knocked out is the two Canadians along with Zhou Guanyu and Alexander Albon. So yeah, this is terrible. Anyway, we'll just see if we can do better in the race.
We return once again then to the home of British motorsport and the birthplace of the Formula One World Championship. It's race day here at Silverstone, and it's time for the British Grand Prix. Straddling the border of Northamptonshire and Buckinghamshire, the 18 corners of Silverstone Circuit form the 3.6-mile beating heart of Formula One. It's been reinvented over the years, with Turn 1 now the fast right-hander of Abbey, but the magic of racing is as strong here as it's ever been. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole. Sergio Perez lines up alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Hamilton, Verstappen, Carlos Sainz, and Russell, Norris, Ricciardo, Bottas, and Esteban Ocon, Tsunoda, Gasly, Kevin Magnussen, and Vettel, Mick Schumacher, Albon, Nicholas Latifi, and Fernando Alonso, Joe, the scientist, Stroll, and Oscar Piastri. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. Anthony Davidson is alongside me, as usual, for today's race. Now let's talk about Sergio Perez. That was a great win in the last race, but can they keep that momentum going into this weekend?
There are never any guarantees in this business, but certainly the performance last time out would have boosted their confidence coming into this one.
Okay, now that we've got some good points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
Is the game audio a little bit quiet, by the way? I've got it on the maximum on my editor here, but it just seems really quiet. Maybe I'm just louder. I'm not sure what's changed. Anyway, something just is the balance seems different. Anyway, a variety of strategies playing out in this one. Some people going softs to hards, some people going hard to soft, some people going mediums to hards, some people going hards to mediums. We're going to the 5 red lights as they go out, and we're underway for the British Grand Prix. We're on the hard tyres, so it's going to be a tough start for us. And we're going to run as long as we can into this race, hope for a late safety car, and charge through the field and take the victory on softs. That is the plan. It's probably not going to happen, but through the first corner we've dropped a few positions we gained thanks to grid penalties, and now in last position once again. So yeah, we're going to see what we can do. We'll take a super wide line late apex here, but on the hard tyres we just can't get the traction down. And oh no, now we're spun on the exit of Aintree, and we're facing backwards on the first lap. That is an absolute disaster. We'll see if we can get things going again. Bit of a slide there. Thankfully, I think there is no damage to the car. Sometimes you can run over the curbs and damage the floor, but we got away with it on that occasion. But that is a disaster start to the British Grand Prix, and it's going to be difficult for us to recover from here. We've lost a lot of time, and yeah, that is just a continuation of qualifying, really. The mistakes, the things going wrong.
Okay, no issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them.
Just continue. So yeah, confirmation there, no damage to the car as we look at a replay of the start. It was Sergio Perez and Charles Leclerc on the front row. Leclerc on pole position. The Ferrari driver gets away well though, and he takes the lead, or maintains the lead rather, into the first corner. And looks like Lewis Hamilton's managed to jump Perez for second position there, and he definitely has. So Sergio Perez, a bad start. He is on the hard compound tyres though, so Perez going long in this one, and we'll see what strategy he chooses later on in the race. But yeah, for now it is Charles Leclerc who leads the way and is extending already over Lewis Hamilton, getting a nice gap out, so things are looking good for the Monegasque driver so far. Let's hope things can continue in that fashion for him. Meanwhile, we go back on board with us, and yeah, we are actually starting to get into a rhythm. For the first few laps, I was basically just locked on pace with Piastri. We were doing very similar lap times and not really able to gain much overall. So yeah, there wasn't too much to show.
Just focus on the driving.
But as we continue to push on, I don't know if the tyres just got into the right window or if we just started to really hone in on the circuit, but the last few laps just keep getting better and better, and it's you know, it's us that is improving, and not Piastri getting slower, which is the promising sign. So eventually we do catch up to Oscar Piastri. We'll see if we can get a nice switch here as we look to the right. Can't quite get the run though, and we have to slot in behind once again, and maybe the run towards Stowe will be the spot. We give him a bit of space through here, but we still run a bit wide in the dirty air. So yeah, it's difficult to make overtakes here in sometimes in the Formula 1 cars. But we'll see how it goes as we continue to push on. Couldn't get the run towards Stowe. Copse is actually one of my favourite, or the run towards Copse is one of my favourite places, because you get a nice run, and now we'll see if we can make the move or if we're a little bit too far back here. We're close, but not close enough. But a nice run out of Copse and towards Magnussen Beckett. We're going to go around the outside. Bit of contact there as Piastri squeezes us. We bump him back, and we'll have to shove our way through a little bit there. Piastri lifts out of it, and we take the position. That was a little bit feisty there with our teammate, but we both live to fight another day. And we come out on top, dropping a wheel in the dirt though on the Exeter Chapel, and now Piastri's coming back at us. He looks down the inside, teammates fighting wheel to wheel, but we'll get around the outside of Oscar Piastri and we'll maintain the position and move ourselves up into second last place. There may be cars behind us, but they have made early pit stops. Meanwhile, out in front, this is a fight for the lead. George Russell gets through, and the two Mercedes cars on medium tyres, so they're going longer. I think Charles Leclerc was on the softs, so he's made a pit stop in this one, and others are beginning to make theirs as well. Fernando Alonso in front of us at the moment. He's just come out of the pit lane on mediums, so he's just come off the hards with that stop, and he'll be expecting those mediums to go a long way. And Esteban Ocon comes out of it lane right behind his teammates, so Fernando Alonso just sneaking ahead with the undercut, with the two Alpines presumably swapping places there. So that's unfortunate for Esteban Ocon, and great stuff for Fernando Alonso as they now run down towards Brooklands. We don't quite have the pace to keep up with them, especially on fresh mediums, as Fernando Alonso goes for a spin through Brooklands, and he's thrown away the position. He just worked hard with the undercut to gain that place ahead of Esteban Ocon, and he's thrown it away immediately. Fernando Alonso, a huge mistake there. Thankfully, in terms of ultimate time loss, it wasn't huge. He gets going very quickly and recovers it well, but Fernando Alonso, a critical mistake there, and he just loses the rear end through Brooklands, and game over for him. He loses that place, as well as now being stuck behind us. And would have been panic stations at Alpine as well, because Esteban Ocon was right in the firing line. Thankfully, he had everything under control. We had to swerve left very quickly, just in case Fernando Alonso come back onto the track. It's always hard to predict where a spinning car will go, so it's best to duck to the inside. Thankfully, we were well clear of the incident. But Alonso gets back through eventually. As I said, he didn't lose too much time. Lucky he didn't damage the floor, sliding over that curb too. And now we have Valtteri Bottas going down the inside in the Alfa Romeo car, and the Finn gets through and makes that position. Currently then, we sit in P13. Hard to say where we really are, because we will gain significant ground once we put the soft tyres on. as well as having to make a pit stop while everyone else has basically already done theirs. We'll be pitting later than almost anyone else, as Yuki Tsunoda retires with a big engine failure there, and he was fighting for the edge of the points. He was, you know, in that region of maybe getting in the top 10 by the end of the race.
Tyres are going to fall off the cliff soon. Take extreme care.
And yeah, he is now out, so that's unfortunate for Yuki Tsunoda. But for our race, that will help us out. That brings us one position closer to the points. I don't know if points are on the cards or not, as I was sort of saying. It's very hard to predict. I think we'll need a safety car, but if there is a well-timed safety car, that will certainly bring us into the fight. So we'll see how this goes. Our tyres are just about to fall off the cliff, though strangely enough,
Information on Vettel. They've got some kind of mechanical problem.
we are still setting green sectors here and there, and fastest laps of our own, personal best laps I should say, but Vettel has a mechanical issue, and it's a big one. He's going very slowly down the straight, so it's a disaster for our rival Sebastian Vettel. And you can see in the top left corner of the steering wheel a light coming on there. I thought that might be like the pit limiter or something, but it doesn't have the P in the middle of the screen, and the speed is way too high. You're still going 144 kilometers per hour, so yes, that's some kind of warning light, I'm not sure, but either way, he comes into the pit lane for an unscheduled stop. This is Vettel's second stop of the race, but he will get going again, and thankfully for him, the issue resolves itself in the pit lane. The crew able to do the job there, and yeah, get that sorted out for Vettel. But that unscheduled stop gives us a very good chance of beating him in this race. It was going to be 50-50 before that, but now we have a great chance. So we come in and get a brand new set of tyres put on the car, racing softs. No, mate, this isn't Gran Turismo, they're just regular soft tyres, and we'll get going once again. Great stop by the crew, and we're back out now onto the circuit, and we re-emerge from the pit lane in 19th position. So yeah, only Vettel and Piastri behind us. Piastri still yet to make his final stop, but he too will be going onto the soft tyres. Only the pair of us on this strategy. As we continue to push on though, we will start to make this strategy work as we go down the inside of Zhou Guan Yu, and we make the move on the Chinese driver, move ourselves up into 18th place. We continue to push on and continue to find pace, as we now have the first of the two Williams cars in sight. It is Alexander Albon in front of us now. So we'll see if we can make the move on the tyre driver down the inside, late on the brakes, and we'll get the move done on Alexander Albon. Move ourselves up now into 17th position. Nicholas Latifi up next in the other Williams car. As I mentioned, they are running line to stern in the order.
P17 now, we've got P17.
Or at least they were before we interrupted that. Oh, safety car is out. What has happened here is Lewis Hamilton that we are looking at, and coming together with Carlos Sainz. The Spaniard's off the road. He's lost a wheel, and the Ferrari is out. Carlos Sainz, a disaster here. What has happened? Lewis Hamilton going wide and then stomping on the brakes on the apex. Carlos Sainz, no time to react to that, and he gets sent flying off the road, and he is out. Lewis Hamilton gets a big whack to the side, and he too is out of the race. I think that's a mechanical failure. I think that was already happening before the contact was made, and that's what the catalyst was. But yeah, that is a disaster for Carlos Sainz, getting caught up in someone else's incident. It's the second incident Hamilton has caused at that part of the circuit this weekend. Remember, he held us up in qualifying along with Valtteri Bottas there. So yeah, that's not been a great part of the circuit for Lewis Hamilton here at his home race. An absolute disaster for him.
No tyre concerns at the moment, just focus on the driving.
But this safety car is not as good as it seemed. That for a moment I thought, oh great, this will bunch up the field, we'll have relatively new soft tyres, we'll go passing heaps of people.
Racing the car behind, let them pass when you can.
And as soon as the race gets underway, we realise the problem. We're not on the lead lap, which I knew that, but the blue flags really going to interrupt our ability to make overtakes. We're going to be looking back more than forwards, and we let Sergio Perez go. Latifi does the same, and we've actually got a nice run as we head towards Maggots and Beckett. So we'll go around the outside of Nicholas Latifi and get the move done there on the Canadian, move ourselves up into 14th position. But as I was saying, the problem that we have is, as well as having to look out for blue flags, is that we're actually trapped out of the points as such. Kevin Magnussen sits in 10th, he's on the lead lap and not that far behind us, so Kevin Magnussen is almost a full lap ahead of us, really. So the chance of getting points is non-existent unless someone retires in front of us. And we've just been given a penalty as well, by the way, for holding someone up. I don't even know who, but there was no one right behind us immediately. That's we make the move on Schumacher there. But yeah, that's very weird. It's for disobeying blue flags, but there was no one that close, and the engineer didn't even tell me I was being blue flagged. I know that the notification comes up in the top left, but anyway, it's is what it is. That's very frustrating.
Still looking good.
But anyway, we'll continue to push on. George Russell gets through down the inside. That's another one past us, and
the stewards have now enabled DRS. DRS is now online.
We'll continue to push on. DRS enabled now, so that will help the drivers on the lead lap get past the lapped cars. We've got Lance Stroll in front of us. He pulls out the way between the loop and Aintree, and we'll get around the outside of Lance Stroll there. So we are using the race leaders to make overtakes. We've done it basically every time, and now that is Nico Hulkenberg. He's not even in the race. That's Kevin Magnussen going down the inside, and he gets through as we head through Cops, and that is everyone on the lead. Everyone on the lead lap now past us, and yeah, we are just in pursuit of Pierre Gasly for 11th place with the penalty. We're not going to get it either way, so it is all just for pride points, really. But ultimately, this race is basically pointless. There's no way we can come away with anything from this one, but we'll continue to push on. You never know what might happen, but yeah, it's going to be tough for us to do anything really meaningful from here. So yeah, as we continue to make our way through, you can see we haven't actually lost Kevin Magnussen. He's still right in front of us, and I'm starting to get an idea that we can re-overtake Kevin Magnussen, and just to prove that if we had the track position, we could easily have finished in the top 10 if we were still on the lead lap. So we're going to do that. We're going to see if we can make the move round the outside of Kevin Magnussen, and we're going to get it done and move ourselves ahead of a car that is a full lap in front of us, and make that one stick, because he still is having a look down the inside. But we're going to say no to you, sir, and he has to lift out of that one very aggressively, as he just had the nose in, but not enough to command a bit of space on the inside. And yeah, he had to really check up there and make sure the contact was made. We continue on then to what I didn't realize at the time would be the final lap for us. I still thought we had a couple to go. I wasn't paying attention, but regardless, we're tucked in behind Pierre Gasly now. We'll see if we can make the move. We're a bit far back to be doing anything here towards Brooklands and Luffield. So we'll just have to remain behind the Frenchman for a bit longer. We'll see if we can get a nice run out of Luffield towards Woodcote. No, we can't really do that either. So yeah, maybe the pass on Gasly is not going to happen. Regardless, up ahead, it's been a fantastic and flawless race for Charles Leclerc, and the Monegasque driver will come around the final corner and see the checkered flag first. Charles Leclerc wins the British Grand Prix. Fantastic drive by the Ferrari man, and he takes home the full 25 points here, as we now make our way towards the final complex of corners. And no move on Gasly Unfortunately, he'll take 11th place. We'll cross the line in P12. The penalty will drop us further back though.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
Or will it not? We still remain in 12th. Interesting. We'll have to investigate that one later, but Fernando Alonso gets the driver of the day.
Here we are then, a fantastic British Grand Prix, and what a performance it was from our race winners today. What do you think it was today, Ants, that gave them the edge over the competition?
I really feel the track layout combined with the track temperatures we saw today suited their car. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature, and the driver did a great job managing that as well. They just look so comfortable out there. It's like anything, it always looks so easy when it all just clicks.
Looking at the podium, you can see that red suit familiar to fans across the globe. A world-class win for a world-class team. Ferrari, do it again.
So Charles Leclerc wins the British Grand Prix. Max Verstappen finishes in second position with Sergio Perez in third.
So let's review the updated driver standings. Max Verstappen should be pleased with his performance, making gains at the top of the table. Some amazing talent out on the track today. But Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
Fernando Alonso, wherever he is, whatever team he's in, when is he not just brilliant? He'll give you a performance every time, just like he's done today.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. And pulling further ahead in the standings, it's Red Bull. Well, what an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
What frustration. From having no pace in qualifying to a disaster in qualifying, a disaster on lap 1, and a disaster at the end just to compound everything else that happened this weekend. It's not been a great one. But anyway, we'll have a little run through the finishing order as we always do. Charles Leclerc, Max Verstappen, Sergio Perez. George Russell finished in 4th position with the fastest lap, so that's a bonus point for him and Mercedes. Lando Norris in 5th ahead of Fernando Alonso, who not only re-overtook Ocon, but put Ricciardo and Bottas between them, and Kevin Magnussen rounds out to the top 10. So that is an impressive drive, and Alonso actually started 18th. So he went from 18th to battling away with his teammate, who started 10th, and then after the spin dropped behind his teammate, got back ahead and put 2 cars between them. That is insane. That is a great drive from Fernando Alonso in terms of just the raw pace he must have had to get that done. But anyway, in terms of the driver standings, we still sit in 11th position. Not much changing there for us. Max Verstappen extends his lead over Sergio Perez slightly. 26 points is the gap now. 28 points back to Charles Leclerc. 61 points back to Carlos Sainz in 4th. Lando Norris moves ahead of Lewis Hamilton for 6th position. So he's in between the 2 Mercedes cars now. So he's doing very well. At the moment, 40 points for him, 36 for Lewis Hamilton. In terms of the teams championship, Red Bull continue to extend their gap with Sainz not making it to the end. Not really beneficial for Ferrari. They're 63 points adrift now, and Mercedes will be looking over their shoulders at McLaren at this rate, and the difference between them is not much at all. I believe it's 12 points between Mercedes and McLaren, so they will really be having to watch out for them. But anyway, this was a pretty disastrous round for us, but if there is one benefit, I do actually think my driving during this round was actually pretty good. If you exclude the damage from the curb in Q1, and the spin on lap 1 of the race, I was actually very happy with how I drove for the rest of the time, and I had good pace, made very few mistakes, and yeah, that was actually really encouraging because I did not have that level of confidence back in Azerbaijan. So yeah, the confidence and the sort of feel is back with this game, and yeah, I'm felt much better driving in that race than I did in the previous one in Baku, where especially when the rain came down, that was just terrifying. Every single corner was scary. But anyway, what have we got going on here? I've been talking over the entire end of race screen there, but regardless, we have to deal with some sponsorship now, so let's go take a look at that. So the sponsor that expired was PSD, which is fine. I didn't really like their logo anyway, but anyway, we're going to be replacing them with Sunburst. They'll give us 111.72k as a weekly income, as well as 156.8k if we meet the goal of completing a clean race, which we can almost always do. We just need to not clonk into anyone, and we'll be able to manage that. So Sunburst will be our new sponsor. As for the activity timeline, we are going to do the 2-day reaction training for Oscar Piastri. That will increase his awareness and focus. We then turn our attentions to the facilities, and we're going to do some upgrades to the personnel department. Firstly, to the simulator that will improve Oscar Piastri's pace, and then to the analysis suite, which will improve his experience, in turn giving us more resource points in each practice session. But anyway, we continue through the activity timeline. We get
They'll be on the car, ready for the next race weekend.
we get the engine cover weight redistribution upgrade on. We continue through again, get the reaction training done, as well as an upgrade to the beam wing in the aero department, so a bit more rear downforce. So we should have a very stable car heading into the next round. That is, of course, the hope. We'll see how it all plays out once everyone else has readied himself for that race, and we'll see what those upgrades do. Hopefully we can gain some ground in the development race, because we're really not doing so well at the moment. I also hope I haven't spent too much money on these facility upgrades, because we do need to sign Piastri for the second half of the season at the end of the next episode, I believe. So we seem to accumulate money very quickly, so I think we will be able to cover that one. But yeah, something to keep an eye on. Hopefully we've got enough. But anyway, yeah, other than that though, I don't think there is too much else left to cover. So I'll say thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I really do appreciate it. Feel free to give me some feedback in the comments. It is always very helpful. But other than that, I will see you next time. Oh, we've got a sprint race next time out. I totally forgot about that. So that'll be something to look forward to in the next video, or in the next F1 game video. We have the sprint format for the first time, so that will be awesome. There's the R&D chart, by the way. I don't think I showed it at the start of the video, but you can see how far away we are from the rest of the teams, so we're desperately trying to catch up, but we'll see. Thank you for watching once again, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.